This is March the 7th, 2018. This is to Lexana and her brother, Gigi. I want you to be mindful that your two sisters, they didn't grow up with a father. They grew up doing what they want to do. They grew up wild. And if you look at your mother and ask her, did she grow up with a father? In her life, she's going to tell you the same answer as her two daughters. They grew up with no father. They grew up with no discipline. And look at their lives. What do they own? So just be mindful. They don't own anything. They don't own a home. They sit down and be on the internet all day. And they expect someone else to pay the bills. There was the way this society works. A lot of women like to use their children to benefit for them to survive. Every man that your mother has been with before me has been in jail or went to prison or dealt with the government in some way or form that had a messed up life. Shanita and Victoria's father, he's in prison. He was on drugs and he was beating your mother, and he put a gun up to her as one of the last straws when she left back to Detroit to get away from him. And then she turned her back on the family who helped her out, and she went back to see him again to try to make things work out after he put a gun to her before. And she knew that he was on drugs. So basically, I'm telling you these things because I want you to be mindful. It's a reason why your last names are different from Shanita's last name, different from Victoria's last name, and different from Melanie's last name. Your last names are different because I'm your father. You originate from me. And also, your last names are different because Shanita and Victoria's father is someone that is definitely, he's in the system, he's in prison. He's been in prison for years on top of years. But besides the fact that he's in prison, your mother moved on to another guy that was Arabic. And he got deported because your mother was married to him for financial benefits of having a place to stay. And later on, she said she got serious with him, and it was like a serious marriage. And when ICE came, they threatened to get CPS to take Melanie's two kids away. And what does Melanie do? She signs a contract saying the marriage she had with Muhammad was false. So she turned her back on the person who she said would be her husband. And he got deported out of the country. So that's why Melanie's last name is Al-Shaba. And Shanita and Victoria's last name is Gomez. So if you look at the pattern, your mother was with Shanita and Victoria's father first. He's in prison. Late time goes on, and she marries Mohammed. And she signs that the marriage that she had with him was fake because the government worker put a little pressure on her and said she'll get CPS involved and stuff. And so your mother buckled down in fear and turned this knife and stabbed it to Mohammed, her husband at that time. And they grabbed him up and they threw him out of the country. And so now it's moved on to me. I didn't know all this stuff before, but I'm just making documentation of this because it's too late. I'm already married. So in case anything ever happens, this is the truth. And this is why you have different last names. And more than likely, they're going to try to, if anything ever happens to me, they're going to try to live off of you, Lexana, or your brother, if there is a brother. And they're going to try to get government benefits off of you and live off of you by means of Section 8. Now be mindful. After Shanita and Victoria is 18, they no longer too much qualify for government assistance. So any place that they could get into would be through their mother getting government assistance off of my daughter and my son. So be mindful. How are you getting food? Food stamps. That's through the government. How are you having a place to stay? More than likely through Section 8. And that's through the government. So your mom is using, along with your sisters, government assistance through y'all names so that they can have a place to stay. So they cannot say they took care of y'all because the food was given by the means of the government and the housing was given by means of the government. So for people to think, for them to say, oh, we love you, we've been taking care of you. Well, if, like for example, let's say Shanita or Victoria say, we made so much sacrifices for you guys. Victoria didn't want you to live, and Shanita didn't want you to live. They actually pointed out and said to their mother, tried to coach their mother into getting an abortion. I had to write a letter. You can ask your mother if she don't admit it. That's her choice. But I have camera footage of it, definitely. So yeah, your mom was considering to kill you guys until I intervened and kept telling her I will not abandon and I will make sure I do my best to take care of you guys. And so it's very simple. Her two daughters, Shanita and Victoria, would not have a place to stay if it wasn't for you guys, because the government supports kids to have places. And after Shanita and Victoria are 18, they should be gone. The government don't support them after that normally, unless it's just for food stamps. So if they are ever trying to say, we made sacrifices, we helped watch you and all this stuff, that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant because you didn't have a place to stay. If that's the case, why did you stay in the same house as the kids, as my kids, with their last name? And then you gonna complain about it. Be a bum. Leave outside and go on with your life. But they can't. Your mother never graduated from high school. Shanita never graduated from high school. And I don't know if Victoria did. But the thing is, I'm just pointing out the simple point. No one has provided for you besides the government in your life mainly. And some people are living babysitters because they don't have nothing else going on for themselves. So definitely, I just want to point out, like Xana, you have an inheritance. You have a father that always wants to be there. The same can be said for your brother if there's a brother. But definitely, if you have a father that wants to be in your life, while the people around you are bitter and don't. And so you have to think about, some people, they want to hide the truth because they don't have what you have. So this is just pointing out some points. Hopefully you learn from it.